Hey guys, welcome to the part 2 of the series where I talk about actually useful binds and commands within CSGO. The first edition, or the first part, got a pretty good attention and you guys loved it apparently. So here I am with part 2, more commands, more stuff to break down, and yeah, let's get right into it. As always, here are the timestamps for the video, so you can navigate through the video easier, you know, when we talk about certain stuff in the video. So I guess it's much easier for you guys to have the timestamps. Alright, so first thing I want to talk about is not actually bind, but the concept that I want to bring up that I forgot in the previous part, and that is if you really want to take it to the extreme, you can actually rebind your movement keys, which is by default WASD, as everyone knows it in every game there is outside on the internet. You can rebind it to something like, let's say, TFGH, in order to have like your hand more in the middle of the keyboard, so you have more keys accessible to your hand. Therefore, you can bind more stuff that are for you useful. In my opinion, I've seen some players do it. I don't think it's that necessary, because in Counter-Strike you don't actually need that much binds and keys in order to get everything out on the server and be as prepared as possible for any scenario. But I saw some people doing it, and I'm gonna mention it here since I want to treat this as a complete guide. So the idea is out there, and feel free to use it or not. I personally don't use it, but everyone's different. And I said, if you want to take it to the extreme levels, this might be one of the things that you want to implement. Alright, so first thing we're gonna talk about is actually the command that, again, I forgot to mention in the first video, but there was not enough time honestly for that, so we're gonna bring it up now, and that is clear decals. And this is a command that everyone pretty much knows that it exists, but they don't really know if they should use it, and when players are using it, they use it all the time, and it can give you a pretty big disadvantage as well. And let me explain you what I mean by that. So the prime example is the obvious one, and that is if you're fighting an area which is pretty awkward headshot duel, and there's a bloodstains behind your enemy, you're gonna have a hard time seeing him. Just like I have right now. It's gonna be much easier for me to win this duel had there been no blood. So I'm gonna clear the calls, and yeah, this is much more favorable for me right now. But obviously there are things that can affect this, and for example, you're losing a lot of information when you're using clear decals a lot of times. So I see people are binding it to their movement keys, so they basically, anytime they shoot or something happens, they're just gonna press WASD, and each key will delete these holes and bloodstains all over the map, which makes the vision much easier, but you're losing a lot of information. And especially when I'm thinking right now about Inferno, there's one in particular that is pretty obvious one, and that is the spam to apps. Basically, if you would have started as T, and during your default rounds you would spam apps, you are trying to get the damage on the CT, and if you manage to get the damage and not kill him, imagine I didn't kill him, I hit him a few times and he ran away, then your teammate during the whole stake, he would realize, oh, there's a bloodstain, you hit the A guy, they wanted to do something aggressive early round. That means you can assess information. That means probably they have bad buy. If he wanted to go aggressive, he probably had in plan to play somewhere close here, maybe shotgun, maybe pistol, maybe SMG. So you get to play around that. You understand that if there's a lot of bloodstain on the wall, most likely the pit player will be one getting inflicted this damage, and therefore your guy who was spamming him will have assist on him eventually in the late round. So if you, after the defaulting, decide to hit B and you get the B side and CTs are attempting the retake, you can pretty much successfully or like assess the situation that one of the retakers are going to is going to be low, and you're going to get the assist off of him. So you can play accordingly to that, and there are a lot of situations that you can use this on a lot of maps. But this is the Inferno just came to my mind. So I want you guys to bind our clear decals to something that you don't press that often. So movement keys or reload key is not it, because you're going to lose information even though your map is going to look super clean, and you're going to like see everywhere you need to see. But if you bind it on something that you don't use that often, you can press clear decals once the mid round is over, and you cannot get enough information off of it anyway. So for what I'm doing is that I actually bound it to mouse wheel up, which is the key that I don't use anything for, and I never scroll mouse wheel up unless I really want to clear decals. So whenever you see the bullets and it's obscuring your vision or the bloodstains, just scroll the wheel up, and it's gonna disappear. And yeah, that's it. That's the most exhaustive breakdown of our clear decals that you're gonna see on the YouTube probably. But yeah. Alright, next up we teleport to the Vertigo, and I'm gonna show you perfect way to use the thing called Draw Clip Brushes 2. And what it's going to do is it will show you all the clip brushes on the map that there is, that you can stand on and you can move around, and you're gonna get blocked by. It's gonna look super awkward, and all these red things are basically those clip brushes. It's gonna tank your FPS like hell, but we're just using this for testing purpose. This is especially useful when the new map comes out of the to the map pool, and you want to test all the possible boost spots and all the possible ways to get to certain positions. This is STYKO Cheats protected, by the way, so STYKO Cheats 1 as well. And just to showcase you what I mean by this is that you can see that there are certain parts of the map which are boostable, and it reveals you easier how to get there and which positions are those positions. So this is one of them. You can see that this metal thingy is actually sticking out of the clip brush here, so you can safely jump on it, and you're gonna move. You can move around it, and you can get a lot of different angles. Either here if terrorists are failing the smoke for whatever reason. Actually, let's make it more realistic. Yeah, they fail the smoke, let's say, and you get the glimpse of them crossing to the sniper nest. Thanks to this, you wouldn't be able to do it otherwise here. Same, you can get some nest angles right here, off angles if you want. But yeah, this is one of many positions that you can use, and most importantly, it is allowed in the leaks and in general gameplay. It is allowed. As soon as there is something to stand on, it is allowed, and you don't have to fear anything. And this is especially useful for pro players, because then you obviously know when you can use that spot and when you will be banned or punished for it. Another thing that is banned, in fact, is this position here. So I'm going to use my bot here just to get it safely. So there's actually possibility to get onto these boxes. It's not consistent, I feel like, but I'll try my best. Wait. Alright, so you can get on top of these boxes here, and it's called pixel walk, and this is something you can check by the command, that it is actually nothing here that allows you to stand on. It is perfectly flat position here, and even though there is slight, you know, wide line here that you're actually standing on, it's blending into the clip brush, and therefore it's forbidden. And it's just CSGO that works that way, that you're gonna be able to stand on that, but you actually can't. This is something called pixel walk. This isn't, okay? So be careful, and if you ever manage to go pro or play in a serious competition or LAN, this is something that you can get punished on. So yeah, use this well, especially useful when the new maps come out, and you can get edge over the competition by, you know, learning the 3-man boost, 4-man boost much quicker, because you know now where it is possible and where it isn't. Okay, next one is a command that I don't understand why the hell it is on by default. It's super annoying, and I will show you why you should have it off all the time. And it is cl_use_opens by menu, and it should be always on 0. What it does is basically when you're trying to pick a gun from a teammate that is on the ground, let's say, and you tapping E on it in the buy zone, it's actually going to open the buy zone instead of taking the gun if it's not within reach. If it's just barely with in the reach, you're gonna get it. But if it isn't, you're gonna get like open menu out, and in freeze time it doesn't really matter. It's annoying, it doesn't really matter, you're not gonna lose much time. But if you're rotating and you want to pick something while the freeze time is still on, I mean the buy time is still on, then it's gonna create really awkward movement, whatever. It's just bad. And you can use this, you can see this as well in options, game, item, and it's here, open buy menu with use key, and by default this will say yes. You want to make sure that it says no here. Yeah, just use it, trust me, it's much better. Okay, so the next command is actually a pretty simple one, but I started using it very recently only, and it's because of one certain situation that kept happening in practice and games. I'm gonna get to that. So it's just basically volume of the game, and I'm binding it to toggle. So whatever key you want, toggle volume, and then now you're gonna put the value in that your actually default volume is on. For me it's 0.3, and then you're gonna put the volume that is really low but you're still able to hear the game if anything comes up. So I put 0.05, and whenever what this does is whenever I press X, it's gonna raise up my volume to the default level, and when I press it again you can hear it, and when I press it again it's gonna go real quiet again. So when I do this is actually during practice and officials, when the round is pretty much over and everyone's saving their weapons, and our IGL is, or coach or any other player is saying what we're gonna do next round, or he's saying in general some important information that is that I need to hear. And you know, when you're saving there's a lot of background noise. There might be a teammate next to you, there might be bomb exploding, and that blast is loud AF, so I really don't want to make that sound to not hear my teammates. So whenever I know the round is over and I'm not in any action, and I'm not going to be, and I know for a fact that I won't be, I always lower my volume to hear my teammates clearer, and then, you know, I don't have to get into the like excuse that, yo, can you repeat this one more time because the bomb blasted or whatever. I really don't want to waste time of my teammates and my coach and my caller that way. So this is how I came up with this toggle, and I think it's pretty useful, honestly. Okay, moving forward, we have a set of 4 commands that are actually going to make your gun not wobble as much as I'm doing right now whenever I move. So what you want to use here is, I'm gonna make sure that I don't screw this up. So CL_Bob_lower AMT, it should be on 5. CL_Bob AMT lat should be on 0.1. CL_Bob AMT vert should be 0.1 as well, and CL_Bob cycle should be 0.98. And what this is going to do is that your gun, whatever you have equipped while you're running, it's not going to move almost at all. Like you can see that my USP right now, when I move around, it's not moving at all. And when I put this CL_Bob AMT vert to 1, you can see that it goes up and down like crazy. And obviously this is not the default value, but you want to have it as low as possible, and 0.1 is actually the lowest possible. So this is not going to screw up your lineups with nades or whatever. It's just going to affect how your model or whatever you have in your hand is going to wobble around. So One thing I want to showcase is, especially with Scout, this is ridiculous. Like when you move with Scout and you're scoped in right now with those commands, it's really smooth for me. Like the crosshair doesn't even move. But if I put Sealbop AMT Vert 1 and Sealbop AMT Lat 1 as well, you can see when I scope, it's actually going to be wobbling like crazy, and this is exactly what you don't want as an opera. So this is especially good when you're scouting, when you're oping. Yeah, just these 4 commands will negate any movement, and I don't think it's a no-brainer to use. Basically, it's only going to make your gameplay more smooth, and it will look nice. Yeah. Okay, for the next one, we actually go out of Counter-Strike into the auto exec, and I want to talk a little bit about aliases and how I use them to save a little bit of time. I spend a lot of hours in Counter-Strike, and I use a lot of different commands to navigate, and it's always coming through the console. So I came up with few things that I used quite a lot, and instead of typing it all out, I use little shortcuts to make it just faster and easier for me. So I'm showing you my auto exec right now. This is something that I covered in the first part. So if you don't know what auto exec or config is or where to find them, go check the first video. It's going to be down in the description, first link. And what I'm actually showing you here is my aliases. So maybe you saw on my streams and in some other videos that whenever I want to disconnect from the server, instead of me typing disconnect in the console, I just type DC and it disconnects me. Same if I want to quit CS overall, I just type QQ. Whenever I want to clear my console, I just type C and press enter, and it's going to clear the console. And this is exactly how you do it. So the structure of the command is alias, whatever you want your shortcut to be, and whatever you want your shortcut to execute. So as I said, DC, QQ, it all stands for something, and it's usually the most used for me. You can type something like bot DM, and it's going to execute the config that you have for your bot deathmatch, or it's going to execute a practice config that you have. What you can do as well is type RR and make it to restart the game. What you can do is, let's say, new alias. I'm gonna make one right now up. I'm gonna call it just DM as a deathmatch, or whenever you want to warm up, and it's going to make you connect to the server. I don't know the IP. Make something up. Your favorite deathmatch server 27015. This is made up IP, and it's gonna connect you to that. So just put your favorite deathmatch here, and whenever you launch the CS, all you're gonna type is open console, type DM, press enter, and it's gonna start connecting you to your favorite deathmatch. So this is something that is probably taking you a few seconds, but you know, if you do it every day and every time you launch CS and you play a lot of Counter-Strike, then this is the way how to, you know, get those few extra seconds or minutes of warm-up in. I did a lot of commands here for the maps as well. So if I want to quickly load a map and I want to check an 8, instead of typing map DE overpass, all I have to do is, like, I've came up with few shortcuts that I have here in case I forget it. It's gonna be one of them. So I wanna just press overpass into the console, or OVPS as a shortcut from overpass, or over. Same here. If I type bots, it's gonna get me to the aimbots map. If I type ver, it's gonna get me to the vertigo. So I came up with a lot of these things, and yeah, you can find this auto exec of mine in the down description below on connect.gg website. You're gonna find it all there, free to download. You don't have to pay anything. This is completely free, and yeah, it's just a way to make alias really time saving, and I think it's pretty undervalued for the effort. You basically put it into auto exec, and it's going to be there forever, and it's going to save you time every time you execute it. So for the next command, I want to go actually to the demo, and it's some of the commands that help me navigate through the demo, and it is actually a fast forward kind of thing. I'm going to show you real quick in the auto exec right after I show the example how it looks. But what am I doing is actually whenever I press the demo and I press arrow up, it's gonna fast forward the game by 10 times, and whenever I release the key, it's gonna slow down again. So it's really fluent, you know. You can see that. What I have for the down key is actually the same thing, but it's just gonna speed it up just barely, just by like, let's say 3 times. And this is something that helps me get through the rounds that are boring, but I want to kind of see them as well, and skip the parts that I want to see of the players that are not really interesting. So right now I would be using, I know Robs is not going to do anything this round, and instead of skipping it through the whole round, I want to see how he moves around the map. So I forward it by 10 times, and it's going to be much faster than me watching the whole round or skipping it and not knowing what he actually did there. So I'm skipping this way freeze times as well, or pauses, or any early round boring stuff. And when it comes to some action and I need to fast forward, I'm just fast forwarding a little bit by pressing down key. Like for example, now I don't want to watch this, but I kind of want to see how it pans out in the afterplant. And yeah, this is something that I use to navigate through the demo. So let's get into auto exec, and I will show you how to do it. All right, so in auto exec, I'm gonna go to the demo watching commands, and these are the 2 aliases that I'm using for this. So alias plus FW as plus forward, I'm putting demo timescale on 10, and alias minus FW demo timescale 1. And I bind plus FW, the first one, to the up arrow, and what it means, this plus and minus signs means when I press the key, it's gonna make this this command execute, and when I release it, it's gonna execute this command instead. So when I press it, it's gonna go 10 times faster. When I release it, it goes normal speed. Same with the FW2, which I have on down arrow. It's gonna put the time scale of the demo on 3, so it goes 3 times as fast. When I release the down arrow, it's gonna go back to the normal speed. So this is what I use. It's pretty easy to set up. Again, this will be found in the description below as well as on your screens, so you can copy it, put whatever key you want instead of up arrow or down arrow. But it's super useful when it comes to saving a little bit of a time when you have to skim through the demos real quick, or in general you want to do it but not to waste, you know, a lot of time on that. So next up is the radial, and this is, I understand, first of all, I understand why many players, pro players, etc., think this is completely useless, and it probably is, but I'm gonna mention it here anyway because it just received an update, as a matter of fact, just a few days before recording this video. So it might be a little bit tweaked or used more in the future. I don't know, but right now it looks like this. It wasn't a major overhaul, they just improved the graphics of it, but I think it's pretty interesting because in the first video I actually mentioned the command called player ping, which I have bound on alt in first video, but I actually unbinded it, and now I'm using on all this radial because whenever you press it, it acts exactly like player ping. So it's basically one extra command. When you're not pressing it and when you're holding it, you get to this chat wheel, which you can scroll between with your scroll on the mouse to chat wheel 3 or chat wheel 1 or chat wheel 2. I'm using just the chat wheel 2. You can find it also in settings. Go to the keyboard and mouse, chat wheel keys, all the way down here. You can manipulate all your chat wheels as you please. Here are the different commands you can use for it. So for example, as I use only chat wheel 2, I'm gonna do some stuff in chat wheel 3, such as, let's say I want to do the go on the first one here, I want to do all my way here, follow me. This is pretty useless, honestly. But what I found really interesting, and one value that it might bring to the competitive Counter-Strike, is that on chat wheel 2, there are certain things that are really useful in the freeze time, where your IGL is communicating the strat and you're suddenly missing something. So you can request a weapon, you can request all kinds of nades, smokes, mollies, nade, even flash. I don't even know why the flash isn't here for me, so let's just fix it right now. So instead of need frag grenade, I'm gonna do need flashbangs. I'm not gonna use decoys because no one needs those, right? And then we should save in case your IGL wants to make a quick. He starts explaining the strat and you're not sure whether you're buying for it or just buying around it, and therefore he can make a quick adjustment by just doing this while he explains it, and it shows down in the chat area, and then everyone reads it, because, well, what else do you do during the freeze time? You can only read something, or you can listen to it, and you're listening to your IGL as well. You might as well read it real quick that we should save. That means probably that you don't want to buy fully, and you want to just buy a couple of flashes to the strat that is being explained. Same with if the strat is explained and you overbought, or you don't have money for a necessary nade such as smoke, you're gonna request it real quick, and it's better than just jumping into the conversation of your IGL and saying, yo guys, can you drop me a smoke, and your IGL completely loses track of what he wanted to say because of this little stupid thing. So yes, you can do it, and you can write it in the chat as well, but I found that this is pretty good, and sometimes even faster. So yep, this is something you can do, and feel free to use all the chat wheels. I just personally don't think it's really valuable, but if you like to play matchmaking a lot and you don't have a mic for whatever reason, or you can't talk, this might be quite handy for you. And but when we're talking about competitive Counter-Strike, I don't think anything else will be used for now, unless these are gonna get used in freeze time, when there's a lot of comms coming through the TeamSpeak and any voice comm program. Alright guys, that's it. I went over a couple of comments right now. I still have a few of them in my notepad that I want to go over in the future videos, so that there's definitely at least one more part coming out. Just let me know if you learned something new, or you know someone that might learn thanks to this, even if it's your teammate or someone that plays Counter-Strike but doesn't really know how to, let's say, make aliases, or isn't really good at this technical side of things, which I completely understand because it's not really easy and user-friendly. Just link him this video and let him know about it, and let me know as well what you think, what you would like to see in the future. If there's some comments that I missed, there's probably a ton of them. Make sure that you write them in the comment section below. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna add them to the list. When the next video comes up, I'm gonna shout out your name, whatever, and I'm always interested myself in those new commands that I personally don't use or I am not aware of, because yeah, that's I want to make this as productive as possible, right? So so this is my goal, and as I said, if you liked it, leave a comment, thumbs up, subscribe, whatever you need, share, that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks guys for watching, and see you in the next one.